Broken heart courage under fire. Coco Gauff faces racist abuse at Wuhan Open, responds with grace and grit. The night sky over Wuhan was a deep, electric blue, the kind that glows just before a storm. The stadium lights burned bright as Coco Gauff stood at the baseline, bouncing the ball with the same rhythm that had carried her to victory countless times before. The crowd buzzed with energy, thousands of voices blending into a single hum of anticipation. But beneath the applause, a cruel undercurrent ran through the noise. Sharp words, hateful whispers that cut through the air like glass. It happened during her second-round match. A voice from the stands hurled something unspeakable, a slur that hung heavy in the air. For a split second, time stopped. The racket slipped slightly in her hand. Her eyes flicked toward the stands. The umpire froze. The cameras didn't catch the exact words, but the silence that followed said enough. And then, Coco did something remarkable. She took a breath, adjusted her wristbands, walked back to the baseline, and served an ace. The crowd roared, but not for the point, for the strength behind it. The whisper that echoed worldwide. By the end of the match, social media was already ablaze. Fans who had been live streaming the game replayed the moment again and again. You could see it. The slight flinch, the deep inhale, the calm return composure. Within hours, the hashtags began to trend. Hashtag stand with Coco, hashtag end racism in tennis, hashtag courage under fire. Commentators scrambled to confirm what had happened. Players who were still in Wuhan texted each other. Did you hear what they said to her? Coco didn't speak immediately. Instead, she quietly left the court, head held high, waving politely to the fans who had cheered her throughout the match. No tears, no confrontation, just silence, the kind that speaks louder than outrage. The press room moment. The next morning, the press room was packed. Cameras flashing, microphones waiting. Gauff walked in wearing a cream hoodie and jeans, her hair tied back in a bun. Her face was calm, her posture steady. A reporter hesitated before asking the question everyone wanted answered. Coco, we're sorry you had to experience that yesterday. How are you feeling? She paused, looked down for a moment, then lifted her gaze. Honestly, she said, voice soft but firm, it hurt. I won't pretend it didn't. But I won't let hate define my match or my life. Another question followed. Do you think tennis authorities are doing enough to prevent incidents like this? Coco's jaw tightened slightly. I think we all need to do better, not just tennis. Humanity needs to do better. Her words rippled like a stone dropped in still water. The history she carried. Coco's grace wasn't born from ignorance. It was forged from history. She knew the lineage she represented. Althea Gibson, Arthur Ashe, Serena and Venus Williams. Trailblazers who faced racism on and off the court, yet never bowed. Growing up, her parents taught her about dignity under pressure. Her father, Corey, often told her, the world may test your skin before it tests your skill. But your character, that's the answer every time. And that's exactly what Coco showed in Wuhan. She didn't lash out. She didn't break down. She stood in the middle of the storm and stayed still, unshaken, a wave of support. The tennis world rallied behind her almost instantly. Naomi Osaka tweeted, no one deserves that. Period. Coco, your strength is the definition of grace. Serena Williams wrote on Instagram, proud of you, baby girl. You handled it like a queen. Billie Jean King, ever the activist, released a statement. Racism in any form has no place in sport. The WTA must ensure that every player, regardless of background, is protected and respected. The WTA itself launched an immediate investigation, promising to identify the individual and issue a lifetime ban. Meanwhile, fans around the globe began leaving messages of love and solidarity on Coco's social media. Thousands of hearts, thousands of comments. You are light. Your silence was power. We stand with you, always. The quiet night in her hotel room, that night, away from the noise, Coco sat by the window of her hotel room overlooking the city lights. Her mother, Candy, sat beside her, gently holding her hand. You okay, baby? Coco nodded, though her eyes glistened. Yeah, I just wish it didn't still happen, you know? I thought, Maybe this generation was different. Her mother's voice was soft. It is because of you. Every time you stand tall, you make it different. Coco smiled faintly, her reflection glowing against the glass. I don't want to just play tennis, Mom. I want to change something. And that night, she promised herself she would. The global backlash. The next morning, The Guardian, New York Times, BBC, and CNN all ran the story. Coco Gauff targeted with racist abuse at Wuhan Open. The headlines were damning, but the message was clear. The world was watching, and silence was no longer acceptable. Sponsors voiced outrage. Nike released a statement. We stand with Coco Gauff, not only as an athlete, but as a leader for equality and respect. Emirates, a major sponsor of the tournament, faced criticism for its lack of immediate response. Within 48 hours, they issued an apology, pledging funding to anti-racism education initiatives in sports. Social movements grew around the story. Schools began using the moment as a teaching point about courage, respect, and empathy. Coco's pain had become a catalyst for progress. The redemption match. 2 days later, Gauff returned to the court for her quarterfinal. The stands were packed, not with mere spectators, but with supporters holding signs at red. We love you, Coco. No room for hate. Racism has no place in tennis. As she stepped onto court, the announcer's voice echoed through the arena. Please welcome Coco Gauff. The applause was thunderous, a standing ovation that lasted nearly a minute. Even her opponent, Ons Jabeur, clapped in solidarity. Gauff smiled, bowed her head slightly, and then, as always, went to work. Each serve, each forehand, was charged with something deeper than competition. It was defiance. The legacy of light. A year later, a mural appeared in downtown Miami. Coco's silhouette mid-serve, surrounded by bold words in gold paint. Grace is stronger than hate. Underneath, a quote in her handwriting read, They threw words. I answer with love. Every day, children stop to take pictures beside it. Young black girls, Asian kids, little boys holding rackets, each one seeing something powerful in her image. Hope. And Coco, now 22, kept playing, not just for titles, but for meaning. Every serve carried memory. Every match carried message. In one of her final interviews that year, she smiled and said, I used to think my purpose was to win. Now I know. It's to make the court a kinder place for whoever comes next. Epilogue, the sunset serve. At twilight in Florida, she practiced alone, the sound of the ball echoing across the empty court. The air was quiet, the sky streaked with orange and violet. She paused, looked up at the clouds, and whispered, I'm still standing. And with one smooth motion, she tossed the ball and served again, because no matter the fire she faced, Coco Gauff had already proven something eternal. You can't silence grace. You can't break purpose. And you can't stop a heart that plays for love. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.